Hey, what's up, guys? Dante here. As you can see, more college football news. Now, this isn't transfer portal news, but just to let you know about the transfer portal tracker, it's a live tracker on ESPN. It gives you up to date live uh, transfer portal news. Nothing's really changed since the Michael Harrison and Byron Threats breaking news. This is just a reaction by McAfee and Herb Street. But in this video, we are going to actually talk about, well, technically he is a transfer, but it's more about what this transfer is about to do. So we all know about Caleb Williams, the Heisman Trophy winner from last year. Unfortunately, he won't be in the running for this year just because his team was just not good enough, and he didn't have as good of a year as he did last year. But this is some breaking news. Lincoln Riley has come out and said that Caleb Williams is going to sit out the bowl game. Now, I'll give you my thoughts about that after I read the article. Reigning Heisman Trophy winner Caleb Williams will not play in the Holiday Bowl, USC coach Lincoln Riley announced Monday. The Trojans are set to take on Louisville in the game on December 27th. Williams, who threw for 3,633 yards and 30 touchdowns during USC's disappointing 7-5 season, is widely expected to forego his senior season and declared for the NFL draft, where he is projected number one pick. Last year, Williams broke out for 4,537 yards and 42 touchdowns. So he had 12 less touchdowns and almost a thousand less yards and four less losses. So that's a huge downgrade from last year. Now we always knew this year was not. It was going to be very hard for him to recapture that magic he had last season. Plus, there's only been one Heisman Trophy winner to win back to back in Heisman history. So, hey, it's one more year we won't have it. So we'll see what happens in the coming years if there will actually be someone that can do it 2 years in a row. With Williams' forthcoming departure, with Williams' forthcoming departure to the NFL, sophomore backup Miller Moss is expected to handle starting quarterback duties during the Holiday Bowl. In 3 seasons at USC, Moss has thrown for 542 yards and 3 touchdowns in limited appearances. On Monday, Riley expressed that he wished he could have gotten Moss more snaps this season. I mean, there's only so much you can do. Like, you can't really play the guy unless you're blowing people out, or it's against like cupcakes and inferior competition. Riley added that he expects Moss to be fully in the mix for USC's starting job next season, and that the program will also look to the transfer portal to potentially add some quarterbacks. Not ready to say that we will for sure do anything, but we'll take a look and see how it unfolds. USC also has freshman and former 5-star recruit Malachi Nelson on his roster, but Riley said Nelson had some physical hurdles this past season. So there you go. Caleb Williams will not be starting in the Holiday Bowl. So essentially, the last game against UCLA, that was his final, most likely his final collegiate game. Judging by how this season went, I don't think it's a good look for him to sit down. I think he needs to go out there and have a good performance. Or hell, even a great performance against Louisville. Louisville is a very good team. They were 10-3. They played an ACC title game. At one point, they were 10-1 before they lost them last 2 games. Or they were 11-1 before they lost them last 2 games. So they're a for real team. I think it would actually do him a lot of justice to play that last game, ball out, show the NFL what they're going to get, because it's a very, I don't think it's lasting. First impressions and last impressions matter. How you present yourself when you first meet somebody is very important. That's why they call it a lasting impression. First impressions are last impressions. First impressions are lasting impressions. You can judge a lot from a person from how you meet them at one time. It's not everything, but it's a big indicator. There's also lasting impressions. How you go out is very indicative to how people see you. If he doesn't play, then the last thing you have of him is playing UCLA. In my opinion, it's a rivalry game, but it's a very meaningless excuse me. It's a very meaningless rivalry game this year because neither team is playing for anything. Um, is playing for anything of consequence, right? No one's playing for any Pac-12 title game. They weren't playing for no New Year's Six bowls. It was literally just a normal year where they just had a rival game. That's all it was. Um, and like I said, it would they're very lucky at 7-5 that they get to take on Louisville. I think sometimes these bowl games, these bowl selections are very, uh, very disappointing. Louisville had a great season, and they have to play a 7-5 team. And I understand it's USC, but still, it's a 7-5 football team. There's no one else they could have played. They couldn't have played. I don't know who else was decent this year. They could have played like who else is bowl eligible? Like which I think who had a good season? Like what about? I can't even think. Like LSU. Why not have Louisville play like LSU? That would have been a good game. LSU didn't have the greatest season either, but like a 5-loss team, really? You 7-5 means you should be playing someone that's 7-5 or 6-6. You shouldn't be playing no 10-3 team or 10-3. Yeah, 10-3 team. Come on, dog. That's disrespectful. And you know Louisville's going to come out because it's a big bowl for them, especially going into next year for recruiting. Getting a top win over a historic program and taking that into next season, they can do wonders for you. Look at Tulane. Tulane had a great season last year, finished off and beaten USC. That's another reason why he needs to play. He has not won anything of consequence since he's been in college. He didn't he didn't he didn't win anything at Oklahoma. Did he? I can't remember. Did he get anything at Oklahoma? I don't think they did. Let me check real quick. But other than that, like even at USC, they underachieve. Like I know they were big favorites against Tulane, but even in that game, I think they were up at one point, and then Tulane had to come back and beat them. Um, I don't know. I can't find it, but I'm pretty sure they didn't win. I think they won a bowl game. I think when he was at uh, Oklahoma, but it wasn't major. And then last year he won the Heisman, but they didn't play. Actually, they played for the Pac-12 championship. They lost, and they lost to Tulane. And they're not going to a major bowl this year. So, like, ever since that, essentially since pretty much everything after he won the Heisman has gone downhill. All his stats have gone downhill. They've lost more games. Um, they haven't beat anybody of consequence. I mean, this would be the perfect way to go out. So, but I guess if yeah, it's his prerogative, right? He has to think about his future. But it's also more than just you play on the field. It's also about how people perceive you off the field. they made this big old thing about it last year. I mean, last month about him, crying in his mom's arm and all. And I was one of the people I defended him. I was like, "Well, I have no problem him showing emotion. It is what it is. You played out there, and it's not like it was just like it was just 7-5. They were getting manhandled. He went out there and played ball, and they fell short 5 times this year instead of 2 times like last year. You know what I mean? And the thing is, if they lose, that goes on his record. His last season in college, he was on a 7-16, but he's supposed to go number one. You see what I'm saying? That's just not a good look. But yeah, that's about it. I hope he plays just for the fact that people want to see him play. They want to see what the number one pick can do in his last game in college. There's not much to ask. I mean, we all understand. Like people always say, "Oh, it's just a meaningless bowl game." Look, man, if you take out the New Year's Six bowls, every bowl is meaningless. Peach Bowl is meaningless. Um, with the Holiday Bowl, technically the bowls are the bowls are meaningless in the grand scheme of things unless you're playing for the title. So by that logic, bowl season is meaningless. If that's the case, they might why have bowls at all if they're meaningless? Why not just have the New Year's Six and have nothing else? Because they're not meaningless. They mean something. A lot of these kids depend on what's going to happen. Either they're going to come out of college early, or they're going to play to their seniors and graduate. Depending on the player, this could be the last time they ever played college football. This might be the last time they played football. Period in their life. You know what I mean? And you don't get this time back. So to call it meaningless is like disrespectful. These guys work hard, and it's not like they have to go out there and play football and go out there and study and take exams and do other stuff and probably do some charities and then just live a social life. And you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of extra stuff you got to do as a college student. So to say that the bowl games mean it, who cares about? Man, if you're a real college football fan, you should be hyped for every bowl game. I don't care. I don't care if it's the Papa John's Bowl, the Duke's Mayo Bowl. That's a very gross tradition they do, but but it is what it is. I'm cool with it. Maryland won it last year. I could tell from Coach Loxley, his expression, he wanted no parts of that tradition at the end where I think they shower you with the mayo and just like, ugh. Like, look, man, I like mayo in moderation. Put on a salad, like some chicken salad, some tuna salad, macaroni salad. You put on a sandwich, it's delicious. But like, I ain't out there eating that stuff raw. Like, come on, dog. Shake and shower. This is a waste of mayonnaise. But anyway, you get stuff like that. You get cool stuff like that, man. And then you get some good games. You never know. There's been every bowl season. There's some good games. I've never watched a bowl season and been like, "Oh, every game is bad." That's impossible. There's like 70 bowl games, or is it 30 something? It's like 30 something bowl games. I think it's the team. The 70, like 70 something teams, like 30 something bowl games. You can find something to watch other than the national title. I mean, if that's all you want to watch is the national title game, then I mean, more power to you. But you're missing out on literally 3 weeks of football, 3 weeks of extra football we get. So, yeah, I'm done. That just I don't know. I saw this story. I had to react to it. He needs to play, man. Either Caleb is sitting himself down, or Lincoln Riley is sitting him down. Either way, they need to hash this out and be like, hey, you the guy didn't finish what you started. You came here to win. We came here to win. I didn't coach well. You didn't play your best. Hey, it is what it is. We didn't come together as a team and get to where we wanted to be from last season. And, I think you should go out there and give them one big performance. You know what I'm saying? And you can't think about getting hurt. If you're thinking about getting hurt, then don't play football. You can get hurt anytime. You know what I'm saying? You play 12 games a season, minus the bowls and the championships. But you're not thinking about getting hurt when you're playing, right? That only comes up when the games start getting that argument only starts popping up when it gets to the end of the season, when it's like, oh, now we have to think about our future. So you weren't thinking about your future the other 10, 11 games before this point in the season? Come on, man, stop it. But yeah, that's it. Caleb needs to play. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts. You can't go out like this. You can't. Your last image in college cannot be you sitting in sweats on the sideline. You just cannot do it. But anyway, that's all I got to say. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think. Do you think Caleb should sit out or do you think he should play? All right. Peace.